everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I am filming my first trimester must-haves. Just a disclaimer, I'm filming by a window and the sun is setting, so it's literally gonna like move across my face probably as we do this, but it's just really nice out and I really wanted to get this video done today. So I have a bunch of notes here, so if I keep looking down at my screen, it's really to just make sure that I'm on track. My symptoms were pretty crazy. Okay, so I found out I was pregnant at 5 weeks pregnant, but I started experiencing first trimester symptoms at about 4 weeks, and it's because I started getting very nauseous. So the nausea progressively got worse and worse through the week, and so when we tested and found out, we got a positive pregnancy test, I was already 5 weeks pregnant. I feel like, I don't know if it's like the timing of it that I found that because I knew I was pregnant that the symptoms were escalated, but I think it just helped that I had something to attest it to. But it was really like first trimester was a shock to my system. I didn't expect that I was going to go through that, and I didn't know anyone in my life that had such severe nausea as I did. So I was pretty much having morning sickness, morning, afternoon and night. I'd wake up, I'd feel really sick, to the point of throwing up. In the beginning I kind of avoided throwing up for the first couple of days, and then at some point I would wake up and I would throw up, and waking up in the morning and vomiting is like really gross because it's just like acid, it's just stomach bile essentially, and it's like a really rough way to start the day. So that's pretty much how my day started, and then I would try eat something. The things that really worked for me was just to have something very simple like Greek yogurt or dry some like dry things. Like some days I would just be able to have just crackers, and all my usual foods that I used to eat just kind of went out the window, and I had to figure out a new way of eating, which was, yeah, I just wasn't ready. I had been, we'd been planning our pregnancy and hoping to get pregnant since January, about February of this year, but what I didn't know to prepare for was the level of sickness that I would get. Another thing that happened is tiredness, like extreme exhaustion. I had to take a nap every single day, and by nap, like I don't mean that like 20-minute power nap. Could be like a good 2 to 3 hours in the middle of the afternoon. Now my case is a little bit different because I work for myself, I run my own business, so I can work around my hours. I was just thinking the entire time of this of every mum that is pregnant and working in like corporate America or corporate whatever country that you live in, because in that environment I don't know how I would have survived. I was literally like dozing off, like falling asleep, and I kept saying, wow, if I still worked in corporate America I totally would have been fired. Even though it's not legal, you can't like fire someone that's pregnant. My schedule's very busy. I'm a go-getter. I'm constantly moving, constantly working all the time, and I don't work a traditional 9 to 5, and I feel like when you do run your own business you work even more hours, and the hours are just like you're working all the time basically. And so the most emotionally taxing thing was going from that go to literally watching myself shrivel in terms of like intellect. Like it was like my brain cells were being stolen. Well, they actually are brains being stolen. So I wasn't very quick. I was extremely slow, very forgetful, very tired, sleeping a lot. If you let me, I could sleep 12 hours at a time. I wasn't really able to accomplish the tasks that I had been used to, so that was kind of just like a personal adjustment. I felt like I needed to say out loud everything that I was going through. So if I was in pain, or if I just kept vomiting, or if I was just feeling so nauseous, and that nausea, it doesn't go away, it's like 24/7, like constant. But if you are pregnant and you're married, for example, that can also be very exhausting for your partner, and I have a super supportive husband, but it's like there's nothing that he could do to make the nausea better, and so then I felt even more guilty because I'm just like, oh my gosh, I feel so sick, and I just have to talk about how sick I am all the time, and this must be so taxing on you because you're used to me being like so on top of the world, and now I'm like, okay, I'm kind of helpless. But I just want to speak to the mums that are still in their first trimester, or you just found out that you're pregnant and maybe you have experienced some of these symptoms already, or they might be coming up for you. Like, to be honest, like giving yourself some grace is like the best thing that you can do for yourself. Your body is creating a human being, and especially in those first few weeks are the most formative weeks, when brain development's happening, when bones are forming, when skin is forming, all of that. And so it takes a lot from your hormones, it takes a lot from your body, and so a lot of your physical strength feels like it's gone. And so if you are somebody that is like you do a lot, in a day, or you have a high demanding job or something like that. Just give yourself some grace to know that, you know, the pace is going to adjust and you're not doing anything wrong. You do the best that you can do, and just being okay with that. So I spent a lot of time like during that first trimester just in prayer and just like literally giving it up to God and being like, you know, Jesus, I don't know how to do this, you know, like please just give me peace to know that it's okay to be sleeping like 12 hours when that would like never happen, or it's okay to be slow. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about what helped with my nausea. Ginger tea, it helped honestly like just alleviate the nausea for like a little bit. So maybe if that nausea was alleviated, it would maybe be like 10 or 15 minutes. But I'm telling you, when you were nauseous all day, 10 or 15 minutes of a breather is like you would do anything. You would do anything not to feel like that. At some point, like the ginger tea wasn't helping me, and so I went to pick this up. I got mine from Whole Foods, but there's a bunch of places you can get it, and I'll leave the name of this exact candy in the description box. They're like literally this big, and you can keep them in your bag, you can keep them like anywhere with you, and they're just like these chewy candies, and these are honestly the things that alleviated the nausea for the longest period of time. I think that I had one of these like 2 or 3 times a day at one point, like on the worst phases of the nausea. So the next thing that helped me was Saltine Crackers. You can get Saltine Crackers from anywhere. In the beginning, the biggest tip that I learned, especially to alleviate nausea in the morning, was eating something or putting something in your body before you actually get out of bed. Just even before I sat up, I would actually feel a little bit better when I actually did sit up, and then I'd have a little bit of water with it, and it was really helpful. Another thing that you can do is have dry toast. Your stomach just needs something to line it, and dry toast is something that really helped as well. Okay, so my next tip is do not let yourself be hungry. Like, don't let yourself get hungry at all. Now, this is really difficult when you're nauseous and you feel like you can't eat, but nausea and hunger as a combination is like the worst thing ever. So I was just eating all day. Like, it felt like every hour I was eating. So I really like these RX bars. They come in so many different flavors. You can keep something like this next to your bed. So sometimes in the middle of the night, I get this extreme like hunger pain, and I was like, okay, what the heck? I never get hunger pains. Like when I'm done eating, right? But I would be woken up by hunger pains in the middle of the night, which was the craziest thing for me. And so keeping something like that, or maybe a banana if you can, like next to your bed or just close to your bed, so that you don't have to like get up and go look for food. When you get hungry, you get even more nauseous, and then that's just like a whole mess of its own. But just note, and the funny thing with that is that you have like extreme dehydration all the time. So what I started to keep around me all the time was a bottle. I have this like really big Swell bottle here. I don't know how many liters this is, does it say? It's 25 ounces or 750 mils, and I keep this with me everywhere I go, every room I went to. So my next first trimester must-have is to start taking a prenatal vitamin. Now, I just changed my prenatal. I was taking the Rainbow Light prenatal one that you can pick up at Whole Foods and I think Trader Joe's and Amazon, tons of other places. But I recently realized that that prenatal didn't have DHA in it. So I just got a new one, and this is a prenatal vitamin from Actif. I got this on Amazon, so I'll leave the link below as well. But it says the most complete and advanced formula with 21 plus vitamins. It has minerals in it, it has DHA, it has folate in it, and this is a 100% natural, non-synthetic, and non-GMO multivitamin. The great thing about this one is that you only have to take one a day, and this has 90 capsules in it. Another vitamin that I took, that I just started taking too, is the Garden of Life vitamin code RAW D3. I take 2,000 international units of this, which is 3 tablets of this. Again, I'll link it down below. And this in combination with that with that prenatal vitamin is everything that I need for myself and this baby. My next first trimester must-have is to get yourself some maternity leggings. Now, I took a little bit of time to get maternity clothes at all. I was just one of those people that didn't want to get maternity clothes at all, but I realized, especially since like I'm used to wearing high-waisted like Levi's jeans and all the pants that I wear basically are high-waisted, so I got very uncomfortable very quickly. I had a lot of bloating, and bloating is like one of the first symptoms that you'll recognize. So I couldn't button any of my pants, and if I did, it's like I couldn't sit, I couldn't breathe, I was constantly uncomfortable. Putting on clothes that make you uncomfortable when you're already going through so many changes and it's such an emotional journey just can make the day like so much worse. And then I got maternity leggings. Mine are from Naked Wardrobe. I had like regular non-maternity leggings from them, and they fit me really well. That in the beginning, like as soon as I got those, they were the only leggings that I was wearing. The next thing that I did get, which technically isn't maternity, but it really was helpful, is comfortable bras. Now, generally the bras that I wear have like an underwire and, you know, all sorts of structural things. And they, like, your boobs start to get, like, they start to grow. So I was growing out of a lot of my bras, and they get itchy, and then they get like, it's just so uncomfortable. But just something without an underwire. I love the Calvin Klein ones. They're super cute, and they're just like, you know, you'll wear them after pregnancy as well. I want to talk to you a little bit about the apps I use. These apps are so great. My favorite ones are What to Expect and The Bump, especially like right when you find out and before you have your first doctor's visit. I think my doctor's visit was at 10 weeks. I had found out at 5 weeks, so I had like a whole month to wait before my first visit. And don't be surprised if you like find out you're pregnant, you call your doctor, and then they only want to see you in like a month from then. But what was super helpful is just having these apps so I could actually see like what was going on with my child. And so it was great to have a resource that I could look at every day, and every single day it gave me articles to read. It told me a little bit about my baby, what to expect about my symptoms. So I have 2 products that I started to use to help me with stretch marks. And more than like stretch marks in the beginning, it was that itching and that feeling of like the stretching of the skin. So I started using bio oil, which is something that I've used for years. I used to use this when I was a teenager too. And then this Palmer's cocoa butter formula. This is a tummy butter, and it's like a real, like, it's a butter. It's hard, right? See, I dug my hand through the whole thing, but it's like a real like dense butter. It melts like really easy into the skin, so it's super easy to apply. So I incorporated this into my morning and my nighttime routine. I have 2 more things. One thing that you may experience that I experience a lot, and I still experience a lot, is shortness of breath. I'm actually very impressed that I'm getting through this video without like having to stop to like catch my breath, because it's been like so real. I'll be like climbing up the stairs, and it's like my heart rate goes from 0 to 1,000, and I'm just like, I have to take a moment, or I get a little bit lightheaded. That's like a really common thing, so don't be surprised if that's what happens to you. And so my last, more warning than a must-have, this is definitely not a must-have in your life. You need to completely eradicate this in your life, and that is like Googling things. I cannot stress enough how important it is to stay away from Google forums or whatever those pregnancy forums are, because it's like when you go on WebMD and you look up a symptom and you step away from the screen and you're like, oh my gosh, I have cancer, because you have like a weird mole. Especially in your first trimester, when the chances of miscarrying, the percentage is so high. Better to like write them down, call your doctor, ask friends that have been pregnant before, or just check on the app of what symptoms you should be experiencing at what time, because those forums can be really terrifying. And what you need more than anything is to feel like confident and to feel calm. And when you start reading about all these women's experiences, and people have had great experiences, and some, you know, there's a lot of people that have lost their children or have had crazy pregnancy complications. Knowing any of that information is like, it's not settling to you. It's really horrible. So I just cancel that in Jesus' name. We do not look at the forums at all, because it's just going to torture yourself. So stay away. So that is everything for my first trimester must-haves. So I hope this video helps you with your curiosities about your first trimester. Again, my experience may be completely different to your experience. If you are pregnant right now and you've just found out, just congratulations to those of you who are pregnant. God bless you guys. I pray for healthy pregnancies. I pray for joy in your life. I pray that you're surrounded with people that can just come around you and support you, and that this is such a special time. Don't take it for granted. Don't miss a second of it. And if you are going through that phase of just that nausea and that really like those really rough symptoms, know that it does end. But I want you to know that it's okay to be where you are right now. Know that it's a season and it's gonna get better. And I'm just so excited for you guys. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, definitely give it a thumbs up. Definitely let me know in the comments if you are enjoying these videos and if you want to see more pregnancy videos, because I'm gonna make them. I am 17 weeks right now, and so I am in my second trimester, and I can tell you from being on the other side, it does get better. Love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching this video, and remember, don't let anybody dim your glitter. Bye. Mwah.